It's just going live. You're live.
Live? All right. So we are now on the record for Administrative Hearing Board Case 24-036. Property in question is 1075 Springdale Road. I have present at the hearing Sarah McGinnis, the Deputy Director of Planning, and Mr. Craig Watts, a property owner. I will start with Ms. McGinnis. What do we have on this property?
The department received a complaint regarding storage of junk and accessory structures without a permit, which led to an initial inspection on August 30th. Violations were found for both accessory structures without a permit and storage of junk. So we sent that notice on August 30th. Follow-up inspection was completed on September 20th and found the violation still present. That was when the case was forwarded to you. That final notice was issued September 20th. A follow-up inspection on October 31st found violations still present. Early on in this violation, the owners were communicating with the planning department, particularly the director, and working towards remediation. I know some things were cleaned up, but no permits were ever acquired for the accessory structures, and no variance application was ever received. If they wanted to keep all the accessory structures, they would almost certainly need a variance.
But that was my first question then, was how many accessory structures are alleged?
I think 4.
And so variance from BZA would probably be required from this?
I think so. We don't know because we don't have a site plan saying how big they are.
Okay.
But it's likely that,
So there could be setback issues and square footage issues?
yeah, we just
Okay.
don't know.
We don't know, okay. Any other details? I see I have the case file up here of the photos that were taken from an inspection.
Mhm.
Anything else?
No.
All right, Mr. Watts.
Yes, sir.
So there's 2 allegations. One is storage of junk and the other is accessory structure without permits. Do you want to take them both at the same time? You want to take one at a time, or?
We'll start with the junk.
Okay.
Since I have gotten notification about all this, I have tried my damnedest to get, as much of the stuff cleaned up as possible. I removed numerous tires from the, property. Removed stuff that was sitting out towards the street. I placed it under a cover so it is at least hidden until I can get a vehicle worthy enough to take it all to the scrapyard, which I'm hoping to do in the next couple of weeks. They had on my initial photos certain areas that were circled. The one by the house has been cleaned up. That was shingles from when I redid the roof. The one on the back of the garage, or pole barn, has been cleaned up. The one in the front, there's a structure that's marked in red there that has since been torn down.
Can I see that real quick? You can, if you want, come sit up right here.
Okay.
Just,
Sit at the big boys too?
yeah, Sarah just provided me this one, so I want to walk through it with you,
Okay,
just so I
because I got
know what we're
measurements
talking
on
about.
mine.
Yeah. All right, so you said
That's been cleaned up.
that's been cleaned up?
Okay, that's been cleaned up.
Okay,
This is in the process of being cleaned up. There's not much left there.
okay,
That structure is gone,
okay,
and the stuff that's still there was stuff that I don't have room for in here yet. So I'm still trying to, there's 1 or 2 things that's going to the scrapyard,
okay,
but the other one's an engine. It'll probably be and end up going in here.
okay.
But because I moved everything that was in here back in here,
Run out of room.
Yeah.
I got you.
it's a 40-foot pole barn and I got no room. So, these are vehicles. This one here is leaving. This one and the blue one is leaving. That one is leaving. That one's still a viable vehicle. I just at current don't have the money to, do the necessary little odds and ends that need to get it to running.
Is it, so this one right here, is it on tires or is it, okay, and the
Everything.
tires are inflated?
Everything's on tires. This one here got hit by the willow that you see laying here. When we had the tornado come across Route 8, like, what, a year and a half ago or whatever it was?
Yeah.
Yeah, crushed that car.
Ooh.
And it was a perfectly good car. I was planning on using that for a vehicle.
All right, so I'm gonna ask Sarah a couple questions real quick. So the red are the structures that,
Those
Don't
were what Zach thought were structures.
okay, so that one's been removed.
Yes, this was one of those portable shed type things
Okay,
that I hard sided part of and had to replace the tarp on at one point. That's all just metal, ribbing. This here is a hoop house to grow vegetables in.
okay, so similar to like a greenhouse.
Greenhouse, but it's made out of plastic pipe.
Yeah,
It's
and you
bent,
put tarp over
and then
top
you
of
put
it.
a clear plastic
Okay.
cover over,
We still consider those accessory structures, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so would,
which I don't agree with, but okay.
that's just what our code says, I'm sorry. Okay, so I see that you're making progress. You got that cleaned up, that most of that, and you're working on that, and you have
Right.
plans for getting rid of the rest of the vehicles
Yes.
or working on them. So the question I have then for you is, what is a reasonable timeline or realistic timeline that you think you could get the junk and debris cleaned up? Because we'll address the accessory structures separately.
Well, I told, what was it, Zach that I was talking to? Okay. I told him that hopefully by the end of this year, I'll
Okay.
have everything done.
Because we're entering the winter season, I'm a little bit more willing to give a little bit time to
That's-
work on it.
That's
Yeah.
part of the problem.
Because
My
here's the
days-
thing,
my
even if we ordered it, like the city's gonna go and clear it out, we're probably gonna have trouble finding our contractors or getting them to do
Right.
work, weather dependent. So I'm willing to give some time on that, maybe till January to get this cleaned up. But
Okay.
the accessory structure, that's a simple come in and fill out a permit. So I'm leaning towards saying get that turned in sooner rather than later.
Right.
And then work through the process, because if what Sarah's telling me is correct, this might need to go through BZA to get some variances because of square footage.
What's BZA?
It's our Board of Zoning Appeals.
Oh.
So it's instead of if it was just one structure, we could approve it administratively and just get it. Because I'm assuming that this goes over our square footage requirement for a lot this size, you might have to go ask.
That one I've measured and that one is under, like you said, 800.
So I would have to look up the size of the property, but if 800 is what you remember, that is one of our things, but it would be every accessory structure would need to be
Combined?
Yeah, combined. So like,
Oh, well, then we're way over.
yeah, and that's
That's under 800 there.
which isn't an insurmountable problem. We can fix it. We can go through BZA, but it's not just a simple, we can do it internally. We have to ask the board. But as long as the process starts, I'm okay. I know I don't want to ding you up, as long as we're seeing that we're moving forward.
Oh, yeah, it's, like I told Zach, I said, it's about time somebody kicked me in the ass and got me to move on this. Because
Well, we want to work with you
it's been
too,
a
but
long
still.
time coming. I just, it's been a long time coming with, 20 years of collecting all this stuff and,
Mhm.
not figuring out how to get rid of it.
Hey, if you're asking us to help you, then we're willing to work with you. So,
Yeah.
Okay.
Now,
So
what do you want me to do about this? Because this can be torn down. This is in a,
well, I don't want to tell you to tear it down.
well, it's in the
because-
middle, it's in a wooden frame. There's like two
Yeah.
separate planting boxes. Each one of those poles comes off. They just
Well,
screw into the frame.
Yeah, what I'll tell you is,
And I can
like with a
cover it.
permit, you could probably do, like, you can still have it.
Okay.
It just, and that's, you're gonna have to work with the planning department because they're the ones that issue the permits and
Okay.
they'll be able to help you, but we should be able to get a permit for these structures, and then I don't think you're gonna have to tear anything down, but again, BZA might decide differently, but
Well, I hope they don't
Just,
make me tear that down.
I don't think, I haven't seen BZA order a pole barn torn down
Well,
before, but.
it's basically a cover on the front,
Yeah, but
so.
Even
I've
if
got-
they were going to not approve a variance, I don't think they would say which things. Like,
Yeah,
you
they
just need to
would-
get under the square footage.
right, so it might be, hey, that we're not telling you which ones to tear down, but you're telling me that's easier to take that one down. If you take
Yeah,
that
and-
down, maybe you can have all
And
the
you can
other
have that
ones. But
conversation with Board of Zoning Appeals.
But yeah, but that's kind of outside the scope of what we can decide here. So
Okay.
basically what we're gonna do here then is I'm gonna give you, and I'll send an order out, so you'll get an order sent to your house with all this memorialized. But what it's gonna say is, get the junk and debris cleaned up by, I'm guessing, first or second week of January is when I'll give you two. And get this applied for in the next 2 weeks, the permits for the,
Okay.
and then I won't have any fines and costs as long as you do that.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
That sounds like an equitable solution from the planning department.
Mhm.
Any questions, Mr. Watts?
None that I can think of.
Okay, well, I'll just urge you, continue working and communicating with the planning department.
I've been trying, but like I was telling Zach, my days off at that time were Tuesday and Sunday.
Okay,
And I
well,
work-
that's
and I
why
work till
we
6
wanna
o'clock
work with
at
you.
night.
Yeah, that's why we wanna
So-
work with you, so.
By the time I get home now, it's dark. I can't see what I'm doing out there.
And that's why we'll put it out for some time to just at least see some progress, all right?
Well, I've been trying to, so, like I said, they didn't actually mark that one. And this little blue tarp here and right here, that was all shingles coming off the roof. So that's all gone. A full load, and I even have the receipt for that of, I believe it was 21 tires.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, well, I don't like to throw things away if they still look like they can be used.
Yeah,
In the meantime, those vehicles got moved somewhere else.
Okay.
So it's like, why am I hanging?
yeah,
on
we're
to
still
these?
hanging on to the tires. I got
Honey,
you.
you wanna make planners out of them? You know, so, most of this stuff you see here is all trees that had either fallen down or had been taken down by me. They're all gonna be cut up, but
Okay,
that's something I'm leaving until the very end. So this whole area has been cleaned up. Like I said, that's gone. There's 2 vehicles sitting here, which we'll work on taking care of. I want to keep at least one of them. The other one, not so much.
we'll work with you on it. We wanna see the violations remedied.
I'm a hoarder, I guess. I've always been one. From the age of 6, I was pulling stuff out of trash cans that I thought was useful.
Well, we're
So,
again, like I said, we're willing to work with you.
I appreciate it.
We gotta make sure we're a team on this one, all
Yeah,
right?
I work as much as I can, and I've been doing nothing but doing it except for this past week, and I finally just said, I need a break.
Okay.
So,
Well, we're gonna end the hearing and then we can continue talking about it, but I wanna end the hearing officially and then